Right?
Yeah, might miss something.
It's yeah. 3, 2, 1. We're on.
Oh,
Yeah. Oh, we got to see
it's close.
the real Danny Teal.
Reveal my identity. It's the fly.
Uh,
Oh, we're on, aren't we?
we're on. So
Okay.
welcome, welcome.
Um, yeah, I want to read this. I hope it's not as lengthy as it seems, but we had a previous conversation about being a playwright,
Mhm,
about
mhm,
writing your own life story, right?
mhm, mhm.
And one of the things I remember from being in that profession for a while is that, and now I feel like I'm getting. You take a play and you put it on its feet. That's the expression, right? You
Mm,
have it read. Everybody sits down at a table. They read through the play. I'm having visions,
mhm,
and then you get a sense of how the ensemble is working together while you're all sitting on your butts around a table. And you've got the director there, you've got the stage manager there,
mhm,
and they're all taking notes about when you do this, or and it's first read through.
mhm.
So I figured we should have the same privilege, right? But we need rehearsals,
Yep.
and we need to get it on its feet,
Mhm.
and we need to initialize it,
Sure.
and we need to, in some sense, infiltrate the idea that we're having itself,
Mhm, mhm.
right? So, and this is just something I wrote. Actually, I was going to read it to you yesterday, and I decided against it. So let's just see what happens.
Yeah.
It is a righteous move to construct a plan in the mental plane to test the viability of it that depends not upon scarring the planet with other imaginary values that extrapolated seek by their own cognizance a doomsday scenario that will achieve their charted course.
Mhm.
It has become necessary for them to see their efforts through, even knowing their conclusion, sort of like a self-fulfilling prophecy, right? You've
Mhm.
got something in your head, you know it's going to destroy the whole world, but by golly, I'm going to do it.
Mhm.
So, adaptation of an iconoclastic system pretends an extension of rights and privileges awarded to the first citizen thought to be those aliens of Earth's evolution. From them, in ancient texts, a lineage and a record endows certain lines to continue a gross misinterpretation that resulted in an imaginary being instead of a single source to whom we all must serve or receive punishment for disobedience of those laws that have previously led to countless reestablishments of what we have done to destroy the past knowledge and past servitudes.
Mhm.
Maybe I'll stop there. Because I can feel, the depth, and I think
Yeah.
what's happening is, I'm maybe it's a cleansing effort, So from time to time, I'm thinking of the dam at Hetch Hetchy in California that provides the water and the electricity for the town of San Francisco.
Mhm.
And from time to time, you've got this huge dam. You're looking down into a gorge, and you've got these pipes through which the water goes. And I imagine it turns turbines. And from time to time, when they open those, you get silt. You get a huge amount of mud from the bottom because if you didn't, then what you're going to do is you're going to have a lake that's what about that deep by the
Mhm.
time all the mud and
Wow.
everything accumulates.
Yep.
And I feel like that this is part of that process. As a matter of fact, this is one of the things that happens at the table when you're having a first read through. If you've got a good director,
Okay.
they'll let people go through this kind of stuff, so
Mhm.
everybody else gets a sense of what's going on for
Yep.
that play.
Yep. Yep.
That's really, really important from a director's point of view to
Okay.
let people do that, not only because they need to do it, but
Mhm.
because everybody else who's sitting at the table needs to hear it,
Yep.
whether they want to hear it or
Sure.
not. Okay, they say, okay, I'll shut up and listen to this jerk, do his thing and spill his guts.
Mhm.
And maybe I'll do the same thing later, but I hope the hell I don't sound like him. Or,
Yep. Yep. I get
and
you.
I think that's part of our process, in coming to terms with this,
Mhm.
because you and I have the kind of a relationship where the conversation is between the director and
Mhm.
the talent,
Mhm.
right?
Yep.
Or the director and the head, I forgot what you call them now. The slang word is techie, right?
Okay. Sure.
The technicians.
Yep.
Could be lighting designer, could be set designer, which is an entirely different meeting that the director needs to go. How do we set this up? What's the set going to look like? What
Mhm.
kind of lighting? I need a lighting diagram. I
Mhm.
need whatever.
Yep. Yep.
Staging, I need props. What are you going to, how much, what's the budget?
Mhm.
Costuming, wardrobe, all
Mhm.
that sort of stuff.
Mhm. Mhm.
And in some sense, it happens because you and I are both kind of like taking each other's place from time to time,
Okay.
um, trying to understand what's in it for you, what you are responsible for,
Mhm.
and then what's in it for me and what I'm responsible for, et cetera, et cetera.
Mhm. Mhm.
And I
Mhm.
think that's pre-production.
Yeah. No, I love the
It,
keeping that analogy to the movie or to the play. I think, yeah, as much as possible, we bring that in and, follow the process that, you have experience in and understand and comfortable with. And we use that as we, grow this with new people and new conversations. We say, we're in pre-production
right.
and we've got a creation that we're trying to, what did you say, give legs or put on its feet. Um, and yeah, we're going to be gathering around the virtual table in Nibiru
Mm,
to discuss what we have and where we should go with it.
absolutely. And there's a benefit to that too, because you'll see if you're not only do they show the movie, but from time to time, especially on YouTube, you can get a video of the production.
Mhm.
Everybody's doing their thing, and there's some
Mhm.
guy walking around with a camera
Mhm.
filming what's going on between the director and the shooter, the
Yep.
cameraman, right?
Yep. Yep.
And then later on, they put all that together to show what it took to put that film together
That's right.
outside of what the actors are doing,
That's
which
right.
can be, another outtake or whatever too.
Yep. Yep. Yep.
So I think that this it's not wasted in a
Mhm.
sense,
Mhm.
and we need to find our way. We need to find our feet, right?
Mhm. Mhm. Mhm.
Where are we? What are we doing? What kind of problems we're encountering,
Yep.
which can be of value later on when people say, "How did you guys, work this out?" Well,
Mhm.
we can show you a clip or two, right?
Exactly. Exactly.
Where Danny's waxing poetical and Troy is doing what he wants to do at the same time. We're trying to find a middle ground, right?
Mhm. Mhm.
Of having establishing a relationship, a conversation between
Mhm.
you and me,
Mhm.
especially the two progenitors of this whole thing.
Mhm.
And even though I think it's always guaranteed that people are going to be totally confused
Sure.
in the beginning, right?
No
Because it's
problem.
it's like
Yeah.
being in an avalanche,
Mhm.
right?
Mhm. Mhm.
I
Mhm.
mean, you think it's just snow,
Yeah. Yeah.
but villages get wiped out by
Mhm.
by
Mhm. Mhm.
avalanches,
Mhm. Mhm.
and I think we
Yeah.
just need to keep that in mind.
Yeah. No, I agree, and I think we've started the avalanche with that LinkedIn post, Nibiru 600. We got a lot of people commenting and well, yeah, giving their reactions and yeah, interest, and so yeah, and that I think is the part of it, just to enable an idea and to enable a curiosity in someone. So it should be a little. You can't explain everything in the first go, and people go, "Yeah, I understand." It takes that process of, okay, I'm a little confused, but I really want to know more because it's something that sounds great. So yeah, I think we keep going with the.
This is part of our backstory.
That's right. Yeah,
When we
yeah.
get down the line and we go back, and it's like, I can't believe how confused I was. And it's like, oh, well, when you said that, man, everything just, became solid. That's what's going to happen. But, as pre-creation, right? Pre-production, then I think for posterity, if for no other reason, and maybe I'm being presumptuous, but it feels good, nevertheless, of saying, this is the kind of, first of all, we had to clear the land. Then we had to pull the stumps, right? Then we had to plow it. And when we plowed it, we had to dig up roots and so on and so on. And then when we were finally ready to plant, it was a year later. Right? And we had
Yep.
to decide what to plant, where the sun is, how
Exactly.
much water we get, and so on. And it's like that too, because I think part of the process for the Anunnaki who landed in southern Iraq, the Mesopotamia, it was what it was. And if I understand correctly from this historical analogy, they had one of the gods or aliens um, principally was in charge of the water, which means you've got to dig channels. You've got to divert it. If you're going to get fertile land, you can't, maybe you can plant rice, right? Because it grows in water, but it's moving water. And then how do when you finally get arable land that you can cultivate, it didn't happen overnight, right? And it
Yeah,
took a lot of planning, a lot of doing. And
that's
I
right.
equate that a little bit to what you and I are going through now,
Yep, yep. I think.
surveying from above.
Yeah,
And it's not so different, Troy, than when you're putting on a play, right?
that,
And I'm talking about off Broadway. I know no, I've never been on Broadway, but I've been on off Broadway, and it's like the same thing because this is serious, right? They want to do. The director has to coordinate everybody's, not only what the script follows, but what each actor is interpreting their role to be. I
yeah.
remember one time, um, I forget, okay, it was a play. It was at Tulane, and I forget. Anyway, there was I was a drunk father who was coming home and talking about eagles landing and taking his sheep away or whatever. And I got up from the table where I had passed out on, and I went to the refrigerator. And I said, to myself, it was an ad lib, actually, in a sort of way. I opened the refrigerator and I said, Lord be, I don't believe nobody left nothing for me to eat. And the house cracked up. And the director says, that's golden, but we
Uh-huh.
can't use it.
Uh,
Right.
right.
So we can go through that whole
That's
process
true.
if it
Yeah,
feels,
yeah.
and I swear to God, there was a time I was ready to use it. The house was full, and I would want to do it so
Uh-huh.
badly, and
Uh-huh.
I could just feel the director going,
No.
sitting in his seat, going,
Yeah. Don't you?
"Don't do that, motherfucker."
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
So
Yeah.
we've got all these kinds of impulses to deal with that may sound that are fresh and new, but they may not make second reading, you
Hmm.
know?
Hmm.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
was funny at the time.
But I think, yeah, what you said before about recording the process or documenting, what's going on, whether it's recording or through our emails and our Word documents, our scripts. And, you do it, I know, on your big fold out pieces of paper, your books. So we digitize to a certain level of what goes on there and have it all as a recorded history. If people, um, if we get to where we expect to get to, people will be interested, very interested in how it all came together.
Yeah, process.
That's right. So yeah, I think we keep these recorded sessions when we are talking about it, and I've got a stream of Google Docs of the journey to here and notes on along the way. But yeah, then to get to where we want to get to, I think we have a date that we're going to have this sit down at the virtual table in Nibiru 600. And, you know, um, once we set that date, we'll give people the chance to say, I want a seat at that table. And we, in the next couple of days, do an intro. I'll open it. I'll say, and introduce you as the creator of this creation, Nibiru 600. It's a perfect virtual planet, and we're looking for participation. And we can set those, a little bit what we've got about communication and community and culture. Um, those, yeah, you can I'll hand over to you. You can talk about whatever you want to emphasize what it is that we're talking about, and yeah, we try and keep it short. I think if we could do it in 10 minutes, that'd be great. And then we finish up with saying, okay, well, yeah, if this is of interest to you, we've got some process on how to contribute. What you got to do is you got to get this background image, and
Right.
you can use Teams, you can use Skype, or you can use whatever software you like. Just make a video with this background, and one of the major questions we're looking for you to answer is blah blah blah. And then, but feel free to talk about anything you like or comment and ask questions yourself. So then, and when you post it up, you can post it on anything, Facebook, YouTube, LinkedIn. We'll find it as long as you use this hashtag, which is Nibiru600. And then, so yeah, we look forward to seeing what comes in, and we'll be back with another video very soon to give you progress of how it's going. Boom. End
Very
video.
nice. Very nice. I like it. I like it. And it's the process that's so painful in achieving that definition, where
Mm-hmm,
everybody's mind is clear what we're here for. Because
mm-hmm,
you
mm-hmm.
can imagine yourself, or I can. Let me speak up for myself. You're you're there. You just got it. It's like my first trip to Bhutan, right?
Mm-hmm.
I was uh, I was sure. I made a conversation with the guy sitting next to me. I was obviously not from there.
Mm-hmm.
And I knew that someone, because I had sent messages, would meet me at the airport, right?
Mm-hmm.
Had confirmation and everything,
Mm-hmm.
and nobody was there. And I got off the plane in this, rinky-dink airport
Mm-hmm.
and walked outside,
Mm-hmm.
and everything was not in my field of experience.
Sure.
It was like, oh no, geez. So I gave myself over to that,
Mm-hmm.
and not that it was planned, but these are the kinds of things that really happen that are worthwhile. and someone came up, and principally, you know, you're not going to get that in New York, right? Get out of my way, dude.
Mhm.
Whatever. But it was like, can I help you?
Mhm. Mhm.
And it was like I'm floored, and none of that was planned. Nothing was planned.
Mhm.
I
Mhm.
didn't know where I was, except we had flown between some mountains
Yep.
and landed in what, a valley, a
Mhm.
small
Mhm.
valley,
Yep.
and we go from there. And there's a lot in common with what we're doing now.
Mhm. Mhm.
You know, landing in a place that
Mhm.
has resources that exist only if we see them and only if we acknowledge them,
Mhm. Mhm. Yep.
which determines partially where we come from and where we're going,
Yep.
right?
Exactly.
Oh, there's a paved road. I think I'll follow it.
Mhm. Mhm.
Something like that.
Exactly. Yeah.
Right.
So yeah, we'll I think set down some paved roads, some little ideas. We'll be the directors of where it can, head, but at the same time, it's going to be quite, yeah, what we call, organic and evolving on itself. So
Yeah. Nervous, huh?
I'm not nervous. I'm
I am.
excited.
You channel that energy. All
Sure.
right.
All right.
All right then.
We got there. Yeah. I'll
Yep.
I'll I'll finish this. I'll press the stop button on this
Okay.
recording.
Mhm.